Hey there, this has been on Pip's channel, Covenant of Promise. And tonight I'm going to be looking at the Proverbs and just going to be going through chapter by chapter. And now it just keeps saying in pretty much every chapter it's talking about keeping his covenant, which obviously, the Proverbs are about wisdom, so the wisdom is his covenant. If you know to keep it and you know what it is. So going to be just starting off reading a small piece of chapter 1 for starters. She cried in the chief places, this is verse 21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her word, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate their knowledge. Turn you at the reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, I will make known my words unto you, because I have called, and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity, I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh on you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. What's the whirlwind? The whirlwind's the 144,000 coming back with Messiah to judge the earth. And if you are not in his covenant, when you cry out and they come back to cast judgment on you, this is what it's telling you. When your fear cometh as desolation and destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated knowledge, remember, my people perished through lack of knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would not of my counsel. They despised all my reproof, which is his covenant. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way. Remember, they seek after their own way. They disregard the commandments of God to go after their own way, yeah? And this is what all the churches are doing. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of the fool shall destroy them. But whosoever hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Chapter 2. My son, if thou wilt receive my words, and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, unto knowledge. Those who lack of knowledge, incline their ear unto wisdom, and apply their heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as a silver, and searchest after her for hid treasures. That's talking about wisdom, by the way. Then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly, and keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his sanctified. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment. So before we go on, I'm going to explain that righteousness means his commandments, his covenant, and judgment is to teach them. That's what it is. So what's the scripture in Isaiah? Is it Isaiah, love? When it says, how has the faithful city become a harlot? Yeah? Once it was full of judgment, and a righteousness flowed down like oil. Yeah. So what it's saying there, the righteousness that flowed down onto the beard of Aaron, that was the oil of righteousness, his commandments, and the judgment, yeah, was his commandments. And now what it's saying is, when it says, how was the faithful city become a harlot? Because she's in idolatry, and no longer does she teach judgment. The people, Israel, doesn't teach judgment anymore, and righteous does not flow down the beard like oil. But once it did, but now the faithful city has become a harlot, yeah? So, when you're here, he keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his sanctified in his covenant, the saints, the sanctified. Then shalt thou understand his covenant, righteousness, and judgment. Yeah? So that's keeping his commandments. And it says in Psalms 119, 172, that all my commandments are righteousness. So whenever you hear righteousness, what does that mean? All of his commandments. Yeah. So when the faithful city became a harlot, once it was full of judgment, teaching his commandments, and the oil flowed down the beard like a righteousness. So the commandments flowed down the beards of men like oil, being anointed with oil, being anointed with his righteousness, his commandments, his covenant. And this is right the way through Proverbs. Yeah? Every single verse. Right, we're on verse 2. Let's go to chapter 3. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments, or righteousness. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Right, chapter 4. Hear ye, children, and instruct of a father, and attend to know understanding, for I will give good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law, for I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also, and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Okay, let's skip the rest of it. Let's go to chapter 5. My son, attend my wisdom, and bow thine ear to understanding, that thou mayest regard discorrection, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Right, I'm going to jump to verse 20. This is still chapter 5. My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Right, chapter 7. My son, keep my words, and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Okay, that's chapter 7. Let's go to chapter 8, shall we? All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. What's righteousness? His commandments. If you want to look it up, Psalms 119, 172, all my commandments are righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right in them that find knowledge. Because my people perish through lack of knowledge, who don't know about his commandments, his righteousness. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Chapter 9. Wisdom had builded her house. She had hewn her 7 pillars. Who's the 7 pillars? 7 churches. The 7 candlesticks on the menorah. The 7 eyes, which are the 7 angels who are the head of each church. The 7 days of the week. And the 7th from Adam, Enoch. and the seventh day of the week, which is a set apart day, the Sabbath day. So seven's a big number. So wisdom had builded her house. She had hewn out her 7 pillars. Wisdom, the commandments, yeah, had builded out her 7 pillars. 7 pillars of the 7 churches. She had killed her beasts. She had mingled her wine, and had also furnished her table. She had sent forth her maidens. She cried upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of my wine, which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish, and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reprove a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuke a wicked man giveth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. That's funny, isn't it? Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to the wise man, and he will be yet wiser. A just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased. If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself, but if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. Chapter 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. His covenant, his commandments delivereth from death. So if you're wise, you know his covenants, don't you? And if you're stupid and you have no knowledge, then you die because of lack of knowledge. So you need to find out that you need to do his commandments and find out what they are. This is still verse 10, chapter 10, verse 20. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many. That's the royal law. That's to teach others to do the commandments. That's to be righteous, yeah? But the fools die for want of wisdom. The fear, right, this is 24. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation. So if you keep his righteousness, his commandments, when the whirlwind comes, Messiah with his 144,000, you're an everlasting foundation, but the wicked shall be swept away and burnt up. Just like the oak tree with the dry leaves and all the rest of it. This is chapter 11, verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness is covenant delivereth from death. The righteousness of the perfect, because we are all sanctified and made by one sacrifice perfect forever them that are sanctified in his covenant forever. Right, so keep his covenant. That's Hebrews 10 if you want to look it up. Righteousness delivered from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but the transgressors shall be taken away in their naughtiness. So, if you're righteous, if you're in your uprightness, what does that mean? Makes you keeping his covenant. Right, chapter 12. A man shall not be, this is verse 3, a man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. Not by the whirlwind either, eh? A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is a rottenness to his bones. The thought of the righteousness are right, but the counsel of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. So the wicked can be delivered by the words of the upright, the watchmen, the ones who fulfill the royal law, and the one who tell them what I'm telling you right now. The wicked are overthrown, and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. So I'll stop there. That's Proverbs from 1 to 12, telling you that you better keep the commandments, otherwise the 144,000 are going to come and kill you at Messiah. It's up to you. Choose foolishness, lack of knowledge. My people perish through lack of knowledge. Or choose wisdom, which is his righteousness and his commandments. It's up to you. Till next time.